Hey, everybody, back to the Gamers Lounge podcast. My name is John Meadows. With me, as always, is Eric, Nathaniel, and Dennis. How's it going, guys?
Going good.
Going great.
Good. Anything new and exciting in the world? Nothing going on. It's just very quiet, and everybody's just sitting around doing nothing, and you know,
not really anything, honestly. It's a whole lack of physical games, really. I mean, it's just that everything really. I mean, there's. It's weird because I've been transitioning more and more to digital, but at the same time, there's still those games that you want physically.
Yeah.
But no matter what, it's like you can't go out and grab them. So, I mean, granted, of course, you can still get them shipped to you, but it's one of those things where, there is something very satisfying about picking it up yourself.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's like the other day I took advantage of the GameStop. What is it? They had to buy two, get two free, $9.99 and under. So I ordered like 8 games or something like that from them.
Yeah, I think you sent me a photo, didn't you?
Just some random cheap games that I'm like, I haven't either had this in a while, or I never got picked this up, or
I thought about it, and I put stuff in my cart, and I got a bunch of errors. And I tried to check out later, so I was like, you know what, screw it.
Yeah. It's like games that I just wanted to play, but I didn't want to pay like $50 or $40 or even $30 for. But like one of them I played with Call of Duty World War II. I just wanted to play the campaign. It was like, all right, for $10.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, just be done. You'll be give it 5 hours, and then you'll be done. You'll get your $10.
Yeah, I'll get my $10 entertainment out of it, and it's good. But most of the GameStops around here are still closed. Man, I actually did some shopping yesterday, just running around looking for some Star Wars figures that I've been looking for. Figured nobody was out buying that crap. So, and like, I went to Walmart, and it was like, the video game section was like empty. So was Target. Target was that way too. I mean, controllers gone, headsets gone. They haven't been replenished. Right. Most of the games were gone. The Lego sections were empty. The Lego section at Target was just wiped clean. There was like 5 Legos in the entire section. Everything was gone.
It's so interesting to kind of see everything be like that. Like, obviously, people want to be entertained while we, kind of stay indoors for God knows how long.
Yeah.
But it's one of the most interesting things to me, though, is, and I feel like we've talked about this before, but it's just the shortage of Switches that's been happening recently.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, first of all, I've been telling people this forever. Get a Switch. Like, the Switch is a great console. Like, please just get one. And then now all of a sudden, people are like, now this pandemic happened, maybe I should get one. I was like, I've been telling you since 2017.
Like, I want
why did you need a pandemic for you to finally say, okay, I think now I could go for about 3 or 4 Switch Lites,
Take what you can get. Find a light and get it at retail. If you can buy it in a store at retail, which Target has been restocking them, especially around here and in like Pacific Northwest, get one.
Yeah.
It's not, if you're just gonna play it by yourself, you don't need it. You don't need the original model.
No, and I mean,
I like actual Joy-Cons because all I can think about is when my Joy-Cons go crappy. I'm like, let me please order another pair, snap them in.
Yeah, I mean, I play my portable, my light more than I play my...
It's pretty bad. Like, around here, you could probably get a Switch Lite on Facebook or Craigslist for $250 to $300. Maybe get lucky with a one crummy game in a case. Yeah. But the other model, Switch, a couple games, people are selling them for $400, $500, and they're people are buying them.
Oh, yeah, it's because they all got extra money now. So
there you go.
Yeah, I don't know.
That stimulus check quickly became the Switch check. That went straight to Nintendo for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Mine supposed to be 4 guys. Come on.
Mine all went to the dealership. I bought tires. I changed my oil. It's like I bought a tonneau cover. It's like I bought stuff that I needed to buy for my vehicle. So
probably ours to help pay for painting our house and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
being adult and being irresponsible. Right?
I don't know though. It's really, really weird because it's like so many things. And I guess it's just that video game stuff had gotten hit, and then places like Walmart and Target, they're not prioritizing restocking that stuff. They're more concentrated on food and and stuff like that, medicine and stuff. It's like we even tried to find a Mother's Day card for my mom, and all the stores still had Easter cards out last weekend. It's like nobody had Mother's Day cards out, because the way that works is people come out from Hallmark and restock those things, and nobody has come out to restock them here. So you still had the Easter cards on the shelf, 3 weeks after Easter.
Maybe it'll get people to, it'll get people creative. They just start making their own, So
exactly.
It'd be nice that way. It's not that bad,
But, I was thinking yesterday when I was walking through Walmart, and this guy was standing there going, I need this, and they haven't restocked that controller. I need this. I need a headset. I need a, and I'm thinking, man, what are all the people who are like, man, I hope GameStop dies and doesn't come back. It's like, because, at this point, it's like, if something like this happens again and Walmart doesn't restock, what are you going to do? Order it off Amazon and wait 3 weeks? It's because they're not prioritizing that kind of stuff either. Though I will say that we've gotten real lucky around here, because we live close enough. We live within 3 hours of a major hub for UPS and stuff like that. So stuff's never been delayed for us, unless it's something that's got to come from the other side of the country, which has been lucky. So, but it was just weird going out yesterday, and there was tons of people out. Walmart was packed, and there must have been 300 or 400 people in that store. It was insane. And there was just guys out front counting people coming in, taking them off when they go out, because they could only have 900 people in the store at one time. And I figured they were getting close to capacity, because there was that many people walking around. So it's like, I just went in.
I've also been of the mindset where it's just like, also like, when there's where there's a will, there's a way. I think so long as you know where to look, you'll end up finding what it is that you. Like, I haven't had too much trouble really in buying the games that I have been buying, but yeah, it's just that kind of transitioning from like, do I just go ahead and get it digitally, or do I just go ahead and ship it, wait a couple days, because ultimately it's like, I do kind of not 100%, but I do kind of miss just that kind of like that excitement, because I still get excited ever since I was a kid of just like, going to that store and then just being like, there it is, and then just picking it up yourself, almost like a pet, just like grab it like that. I want that one, like that's the one I want, grabbing it and then going, versus just like, and with that kind of also that worry, because God knows this has happened to me many times, where you never know what's going to happen in the middle of shipment, right? So you might get a game. This happened to me a long time ago when I got For Honor, which is hilarious because the game itself was already broken. But when I got For Honor and I got Shadow of Mordor, I think both of them came in the same. It wasn't even a box. It was like one of those little like leaflets. I guess those little leaflets.
That's weird.
Packages, I suppose.
Oh, the little thin. They're like a packing, but they're not. They don't have no padding in them. They're just
right.
Like nice and tight, like a big. They're like a. I'm thinking it's the big brown envelope where it's like almost.
That exactly.
Like, why would you ship something like that?
Target. Like that. That's the way Target does all their stuff. Any of the Target, when I order movies from Target or video games from Target, they come in a big brown or cardboard thing about this big, but it's been vacuum sealed shut down, so it's just the shape of the thing. But it's it must be like humongous, and then you got to tear the middle of it and open it up, and it's all gummy on. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but that's kind of Best Buy's method as well, for at least like smaller, thinner media. Yeah. But this in particular, I bought from GameStop. This was years and years ago, but this was also a consistent thing with GameStop for some reason. When I got it, something happened where it just, I swear, it looked like, I don't know what these games did or said in the middle of shipment, but they clearly offended somebody because these things were they had holes in them. Just like, and these, by the way, I bought them brand new. They were brand new, and these things had holes in them. They looked like they were shot, like they got hit by a drive-by. Like it was really that bad. The For Honor disc was cut in half, and
Wow.
I couldn't tell you when I brought it back to the store. I was like, look, I'm not gonna explain. Let me just show you. Okay.
Yeah.
And then so I handed him the boxes, and he's like, oh my God, what happened? And I was like, I got the same questions, man. I'm trying to figure that out as well. But look, a little less Phoenix Wright, a little more refund, and let's try to figure this out. But we got it taken care of quick because they looked at it and they were like, oh, I don't know what happened, but you bought it. This happened like less than 24 hours ago, because I returned it that day. Like the moment I got it, I was like, yo, this got delivered today, maybe like an hour ago. I'm here now. As you can imagine why. And it was bad. It was real bad. But that's happened to me a few times though. But that was probably one of the more egregious cases, because it almost looked like it was done on purpose. Like that's how bad it was, where it was in pieces. It was absolutely in pieces. Like I've gotten packages before where it's like when I bought Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, maybe like probably earlier in the year, back in January, because they were selling it for like $7, and I never got the season pass or anything. And I was just like, well, that's season pass, like $20, $30, $40, whatever. I was like, I'll just get that, get the game physically with everything, so let me just do that. And on Xbox One, because I've already had it on PlayStation 4, but I was like, let me just get it on Xbox. And there was a little chip on the corner of the box, because I could tell the packaging was a little messed up. But when I opened it up, like it was just a little chip. I mean, like, yes, some of the cover art was a little bent, but like it was fine. The disc itself was fine, so I didn't mind. Things happen. I know. But when it's as bad as a disc being broken in half, I was like, okay. Because I'm usually not the type of guy to like, go out of my way and return stuff, because I know it's a hassle for not only the customer, but for the employee as well. So it's a hassle for everybody, so unless it's absolutely something I need to do, I usually won't bother too much with it. But, so in the case of that, it's like, I don't need it in mint condition, it's not like I'm reselling a statue or something,
Right.
But yeah, no, that one particular case with For Honor. Yeah, that one particular case with For Honor and Shadow Mordor. God, that was one of the more terrible cases. And when I bought a pop a long time ago as a gift for somebody, and the bag, the box turned into a bag. That's how beat up this box was. Was it just like when you like crumple up paper enough, it starts to feel like a towel almost, or like a cloth. That's what happened with this box. It just turned into a bag. And it was really bad.
All I can think of is the beginning of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, where Jim Carrey's dressed up as the UPS guy, and he's kicking that box down the street. And you just hear everything inside it just shattering and breaking, and he's just kicking it like a soccer ball. And then he gets in the elevator to deliver it, and the doors close on it like 2 or 3 times. It's like it's what I think of happened to your box by the time it got to you. They were just using it as a
Jim
soccer
Carrey
ball.
might have delivered it. Yeah, it was bad. It was real bad. That one was from Amazon, and I'm pretty sure I have photos of it somewhere still. If I can find the photos, I'll send them to you. But I'm telling you, like, it because it was one of those things where it's like, it was that bad where I was like, I'm gonna have to take this to court. Like, this is bad. Like, this is like, this looked like a terrorist attack happened on this package. Like, it was bad. And it was so bad. But yeah, no, they gave me a refund real quick. They were like, look, I don't know what happens. We're not going to try to figure it out. We're going to send you a new one right away, because
Amazon's usually pretty good about that. They usually don't put up a fuss about it. They just like, okay, because they know crap like that happens all the time.
Yeah, and again, it's like, you don't really want to, chastise or be disparaging towards the seller, because it's just like, once it leaves, because obviously they want to make a good transaction. So like, it's something may have just happened in between shipment. Maybe it just got put in with a bunch of big boxes. The small box got a bunch of big heavy boxes and just accidentally got crushed, or whatever the case may be. So it's kind of hard to kind of point the blame sometimes. But
well, see, and that's the funny thing with GameStop. When you order something from GameStop, it goes to the order. Sometimes goes to their warehouse in Texas, but most of the time it goes to a store.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
they pull it from store inventory and send it here. Like when I bought my Xbox One, it actually just came from like 3 hours down the road. And what was funny was I was very apprehensive about ordering the system and then having it shipped from GameStop because I knew how it was going to be. When it came, it was a box in a smaller box. There was no padding, but what they did was they had pulled up the edge of the inside of the box where it folds. They pulled up one of it and jammed the box in there so then it wouldn't move. It's like, we don't need padding. We'll just pull this piece of cardboard up and tee it to bounce up so it was like this in the box. It was like, okay, that worked, I guess. It didn't jostle around a whole lot, but it was like at the same time, it was like, man, if that thing would have fell, then that box just would have been bam, 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 all the way down.
Yeah. Just like a ping pong table.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah. Shipping, I could just go on and on and on and on about shipping things. So my favorite's when I order something from Amazon and it goes, they will ship this in the outer box. It will show what it is. If it's a gift, please have it shipped like this, because a lot of times they'll just slap a label on it and say send it on out.
That's what the monitor that I'm using now, that's what happened. It was just like just a big box size. It wasn't protected or anything. It was literally just what it was just like, here's this Asus like R455 or whatever, and it was like, oh good.
So how much it costs.
Glad I was here when it came, so everybody wouldn't know.
Thanks for a box and triple packing it.
So
but
anyway, let's talk about what we've been playing. Talk about what we got that was actually in stock that came to our house that we were able to play. So, Nathaniel, you're still playing Monster Hunter, I see, and that seems to be about it right now.
Yep. So last time I'd probably played, I don't know, a dozen hours. Now I'm up to like 75. I've been playing the crap out of Monster Hunter.
Well, that's good.
You get your use out of it, so that's good.
Yeah, like, the game is so much fun. I should have played it a long time ago, but hey, I'm playing it now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't remember. I think I'm like Hunter rank 14 or something. I've still got I'm in like the second half of the story quests or whatever, the very loose story.
Yeah.
But I keep getting distracted doing all this side stuff. I'm like, oh, hey, I want to go out and hunt this monster so I can get these materials so I can craft this weapon. Or, hey, I want this weapon, which means I need to make these two before it. In order to do that, I need to go hunt this thing. And so I was like, oh, all those giant dragon things they just told me about, they can wait a while I go hunt these other things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I that was one of the ones I got for $10, even though it's on Game Pass. It's like, well, I'll still want to play that after they take it off Game Pass. So for $10, I'll throw it on the shelf and have it on. Have a physical copy of it.
A lot of game for $10.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is a whole lot for $10. Yeah, I was surprised. So, but
so I've gotten into the high rank stuff because you start out in like what they call low rank, and then like once you hit a certain point in the story, it's almost like a first climax or whatever. Like, hey, we beat the big thing that we're doing in the opening cutscene. Now we've chased it off, and oh wait, things aren't how we thought. So things have changed, and now you're in high rank where there's tougher monsters and new monsters showing up and all that.
Yeah.
So I've got, I think, up to like 8-star quests, because like each one is like 1, 2, 3, 4 stars of difficulty. Once you get 5, I think is the start of high rank, or 6 is the start of high rank, whatever they call it. And then like I think with Iceborne they've added like master rank somewhere in there, but I don't have Iceborne, so I don't know where that shakes out. And I'm like still like there's a lot of stuff from where, hey, I've started to, I could go do this end game stuff for a long time because I haven't even reached the end of like the story missions yet. So.
Yeah, I need to start playing that. I started. Well, I need to play it. I started playing it, when it first came out, and I don't know why I didn't even stick with it. Something else. Who knows? It came out when everything else was coming out in like October, November. So it was like there was tons of stuff coming out.
It came out right earlier in the year, and then like the PC one came out in like August or something. I thought maybe it was like a year. I don't know, but yeah, it's been out for quite a while. So
yeah. It was one of those ones
like,
that
ooh, I get into this now, then maybe they'll have another one out on the next gen consoles in the first 2 or 3 years, a new one. Who knows?
Yeah, there you go.
But even till then, I have a ton of stuff in this, and if I buy the Iceboard expansion, that's even a ton more in this game.
Yeah.
If I really want to play it that much.
And they'll definitely have one out on next gen eventually. I can't imagine them not. I mean, that game
With the success of World, yeah, like, there's no
especially
way.
with the success of that one. Yeah, they've had them on every system since PlayStation 2. Well, not every system, because they were exclusive there on the 3DS for a while for some strange.
Yeah, they were just handheld in general for a while because right before the 3DS,
Yeah.
you had Monster Hunter Unite on PSP.
Yeah.
And then after that, yeah, it was just 3DS for like a solid 10 years almost.
Yeah, it was really weird. I never understood why they did that. I mean, it was a fun game to play on the 3DS, but it always felt like it should be.
The reason is Japan.
I guess, yeah. I mean,
because until World, it didn't really blow up anywhere other than like Japan and things like Europe. America didn't really play Monster Hunter outside of like some people did.
Yeah, it had a
and
cult.
So it just didn't blow up until like World came out, and people were like, oh, hey, cool.
Yeah, and this
is what we've been missing.
Yeah, and they made World a lot more accessible.
100%. A lot of quality of life.
Yeah, there was a lot of quality of life enhancements that just wasn't in the other ones that would turn off.
And especially now, because I've been watching some videos of that came when World came out on like PlayStation and stuff way back when it first released, and then what it is now is even better. They've made some certain changes, like you couldn't sell all in a couple of places, like, or collect all things after how you had to like click on them individually or whatever.
Yeah.
Now there's like a big, keep them all or sell them all button, and then you have what's called I can't remember, but basically the items that are only for money. You don't craft with them or anything. You can just hit a button and sell all of them in your inventory, and you don't have to go find them.
Yeah.
So they've added a bunch of little stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that that's definitely nice.
But yeah, that game was just so good at getting you into a nice loop of, oh, hey, I'll go off and hunt this thing. Oh, wait, I want to go get some different other materials. I want to just wander around. Oh, hey, here's this new monster. Let me like research it for a while by like picking up its tracks and then maybe fight it. And then, oh, that one looks way too intimidating. And I'll do that one later when I get better gear. And it just like keeps giving you things to do. You get little kind of side quests, or like, hey, go get me this ingredient so you can unlock a thing at the canteen, or go get this thing so you can unlock new little piece of gear or whatever. There's just so much that's like digestible sized things that even like the big monster fights could last like 45 minutes or something if you're really on a tough one, but most of the stuff that you're doing is going to be like 10, 15, 20-minute chunks.
Yeah,
at most, or you're just wandering around in exploration mode, picking up all the little like resources and gathering stuff.
Right.
So it's like you can find something to do. Based on whatever mood you're on, pretty easy. Oh man, there's like apparently he's a big one of the bigger monsters that's been in Monster Hunter for a while, but I've gotten now that I'm high ranked. There's a Devil Joe shows up.
Oh God, Devil Joe. Yeah,
and it's one that like if he's not on the map, he can show up on the map at random and just like come up out of the ground while you're fighting another monster. And it's happened to me so many times now where it's like, crap, that just threw a giant monkey wrench in the works. Yeah, I was doing really good on this like monster that I was pretty confident about, and then now he's around. It's like crap. I have to adjust my strategy, which I'm sure that's why they did it that way, because like by that point in the game you're like, okay, I'm comfortable, I know how this works. I'm fighting all these monsters, even or some of the new ones. Like, okay, I know how this works. Like they throw that in to like throw you off balance.
Yeah.
And just be like, oh, okay, well if you think you know how it works, here we'll put this giant intimidating thing that'll like the monsters that were big at the beginning of the game, he'll just pick them up and just like carry them around in his jaws for a while and shake them and then like throw them on the ground. Or he will put them in his jaws and chase you with them and try to smash you with them. Like such an aggressive monster, man. At some point I will hunt him down and kill him, but not yet.
Yeah.
I don't have that confidence just yet.
Yeah.
I've done like a couple of the Elder Dragon fights so far. There's one that's even technically called an Elder Dragon because they're like a specific different category than all the regular monsters. They're actual ones that are dragons. and one of them is just a unicorn-looking thing that's just like electric attacks out the wazoo. It like has electricity armor. It'll like call it from the sky. It'll leave trails of it, and like that was one of the cooler fights.
Yeah.
Of like a smaller one, and then there's like some like nice bigger monsters. There's ones that start. A lot of the earlier ones in the game is just like this is the monster itself. It has all of its moves. But then some of the later ones, they have different things like, hey, this one drops explosive pods everywhere, and you have to watch out for them. And they get a lot more difficult and crazy. But it's amazing how well they do at making every monster different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always been one of the cool things about Monster Hunter is how many different.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, since I'm new to Monster Hunter, I don't know how many of these have been in prior games or not. Like, but even then, like the jump from whatever the last games were to World, the fidelity is so much different.
Yeah.
Like in this game, it's so much higher res and allows them to do a lot more things.
Yeah.
That like
absolutely.
I like they have like basically 5 major areas in the game, 5 big maps, and doing it that way rather than trying to make one giant open world map, I think was the good call because it lets them make them super intricate and have so many like little shortcuts and winding paths through places, and it's just they're so much fun to explore, and I keep finding little nooks and crannies I haven't found yet, even though I've been on these maps so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always the cool thing when they do that. That's one that I need to. I've been going through on the Xbox One X and just booting up like old games that are enhanced just to see, how much. Let us see if it really is. Really looks different, and some of them just look fantastic, especially like the old OG original Xbox games.
Those are the
Holy
ones that
crap.
impress me the most. Yeah, because just at what they're doing from an emulation perspective, and it's all from the hardware too. Of just like, there's nothing the devs need to do. There's nothing you need to do. It's just the Xbox doing its thing. You just pop it in, and then you're getting the best possible visual fidelity there. Older games look remastered right away, and that's what I was saying a couple of podcasts ago of like when the Bayonetta Vanquish remaster came out, I was like, I don't need that because I got the 360 versions already on a 1X. They look identical, so I just don't need it.
It was like I booted up Rebel Commando from the OG Xbox. That's one of my favorite Star Wars games. That's the first-person, shooter game. And the controls haven't aged very well. It's kind of odd because you got the, new games to pull the sights up. You pull the trigger. Well, this one's still got it on the stick, so you click it, and it. I had to go back and go, wait a minute, I got to get used to this old way of playing first person shooter. But I mean, it just looked fantastic. I mean, just it was 60 frames a second. I mean, it was fast. It was so fast I had to kind of get used to it.
One of the most beautiful games I think you can definitely see a big difference in is probably Jade Empire. Jade Empire. I mean, going from that original Xbox game, man, it was gorgeous at the time because it has so many colors too, and then of course the setting that it has. But seeing it in in the highest resolution possible with those smoothed out edges and stuff like that, it's like, wow, man, like it really makes you want just a full-blown remake, so, something similar to like Resident Evil or whatever, where it's like, I mean, that game was just stunning, and I think it would hold up well today, if it got a second chance.
I think so too. There's a lot of things that's in that game that of course that was BioWare, that was before Knights of the Old Republic and stuff like that, so there was a lot of those gameplay things, the multiple choices with what you say, and if you pick this path, you kind of go down, you could go down this dark side, you can go down this light side, you can walk that middle line, there was a lot of things, and that game's how old now? I mean,
probably
20
when it came out almost.
I can't remember. It's been a while. It's been at least 15, 16 years, I'd say, since that game came out.
2005 it came out.
Okay, so I was close.
15 years, yeah. But I mean, even just looking at the original screenshots right now here on Google, it's just like, I mean, what a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game. Yeah. And seeing it, how it looks on the One X is just it's stunning.
Yeah.
Stunning.
That's what I've been doing a lot of, is just doing that instead of playing Assassin's Creed like I should be doing. I needed a little break from Assassin's Creed, so I threw in, Call of Duty World War II just to play something totally different. Get away from my full-blown RPG story games and kind of play something that I don't have to think a whole lot about. Just duck and cover. And it's great. I mean, it's got a good story. It's a World War II shooter. Call of Duty. I mean, there's not much you can say about Call of Duty other than it's Call of Duty. And it looks awesome on the X. It's got lots of little particles flying through the sky, and it's very movie-esque. You got your guys that I recognize, not only their voices but their faces from movies and TV and stuff like that. And but yeah, it's like it's a good game just to kind of play, to wash my palate of Assassin's Creed and play something else and then go back to Assassin's Creed. It's like I can't just sit and play Assassin's Creed for however many hours that I have to play Assassin's Creed for to finish it. I got to play a little bit of something else, and I also can't keep playing Animal Crossing. So I could, but
yeah.
I haven't. I don't do much in Animal Crossing right now other than just basic everyday things. I just go in, check my mail, check my turnip prices, go dig up my fossils, go pick up seashells, maybe pick a few weeds. If my fruit's out, I pick up my fruit, sell it all, put the thing back, and that's pretty much all I do in Animal Crossing.
Almost becomes like a second life.
Almost. Yeah, I mean, that's it. So I don't really have any big Animal Crossing updates to do because there hasn't been anything really going on in Animal Crossing other than it's been raining on my island every day that I've pulled it up. So
it has never failed that every Sunday it just decides, you know what? We're going to water the plants for you.
Yeah.
Never fails.
So, Eric, why don't you go next and tell us what you've been playing?
Because I got the biggest list.
You got a long list there.
So, let's start with the worst, and that would be Pong Quest. I do not recommend this game.
Oh, and you had such high hopes for it. That one was one that you specifically came to me and said, "Hey, I want to review this game. It looks really cool."
I tell you, if I could swear on the show, I'll tell you what I really think. It's not very good. You can look at some review videos. It's okay. There's just not a lot of substance there. I mean, it's bare bones, tiny RPG with poor humor. So it gets pretty repetitive, pretty old, pretty quickly. Interesting twist on Pong. It's cool to see them take an IP and try something different. But I mean, if it's like $5 and you really love Pong and Atari, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
That's about it. Everything else I've been playing. Oh, actually, we'll wait now. I mean, we'll talk about. Playing La Mulana 1 and 2 on Nintendo Switch because we got a review code for it, and it's been a little bit behind on that one. Those are interesting games. Those are a remaster, I believe.
Yeah.
The second one is probably a little bit more playable than the first one, I've noticed.
First one was hard.
Kind of a mesh of like Lode Runner meets sort of like Indiana Jones or like Solomon's Key kind of. Yeah. They're entertaining. They are tough. The controls are tight, but the jump mechanics are really floaty, I've noticed.
Yeah.
So it's kind of screwed me a lot. But it's interesting, kind of exploring and digging up stuff and trying to get the artifacts and fighting the enemies and things. And it's kind of a sort of different game. It's interesting. It's very well done too. Yeah. It's very the modern twist they put on is really cool with like a modern technology and a computer. You carry around you have a smartphone in the second game and you're carrying that around and it's like kind of injected in the game where I'm like, I bet, the first time this was made, there was not this. So it's kind of an interesting little twist on it. Right. The humor's good. I've been playing Megabyte Punch for Nintendo Switch. We got that for review too. That is a cross between Mega Man, Smash Brothers, and maybe your sort of traditional 2D platformer. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
plays a robot. You assemble pieces of yourself. You can upgrade equipment as you go. You fight bosses like in Mega Man. You get their weapons. And then Smash Bros. It has a lot of physics in it, like with the fighting and especially boss fights. You can bounce people off walls, bounce people off the ceilings, throw people into pits and things like that. So that's kind of cool. I've been playing that. I've actually put a couple hours in that. I got into the 5th or 6th world,
Hmm.
so it's pretty good. It's definitely challenging.
Yeah.
You gotta take your time, kind of pick your abilities. Cosmic Star Heroine was a game that other people on the show have recommended. Played a little bit of that on Friday. It's
Yeah.
pretty good. I really like it.
That
It's pretty
game
short,
is
right?
$1.50 right now on
Yeah, it's really
That's
Steam.
true.
it's
That's
short, right?
true.
You told me it's like under
It's like
15 hours, right?
Yeah, it's like 12 to 15 hours depending on how much you do in it. I mean, yeah, it's but if you like Chrono Trigger, original Fantasy Star, Chrono Trigger, anything like that, is an awesome RPG.
Mhm.
I need more stuff like that, like sort of sci-fi.
Yeah.
I definitely like the combat. I'm like, oh, I can play this.
Yeah, I love that game. It's one of my favorites.
I finished Divinity Original Sin 2 last weekend with my buddy. Last fight. I think we tried to beat it before and like kind of screwed up. I got slaughtered, so did a little bit of strategy digging. I was like, oh, we'll try that. Destroyed him. It was good. I kind of got shafted in the end. Nathaniel will know what I'm talking about. But the ending's a very interesting twist. It's cool. I would consider doing another playthrough. I don't know if my buddy has it in him to do another co-op play. He was kind of done at the end. I could tell. But it's good. I liked it. It makes me want to go back and try to finish the first one on PS4. I fired up the modded Xbox on Friday and I played some Tony Hawk 3, which I've actually never played before. So played a couple levels of that. Still holds up. It's Tony Hawk. I started playing Fallout Brotherhood of Steel. I own that physically, and I have it on my modded Xbox. And yeah, I was thinking it would be like Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance. And in Dark Alliance, I got bored. I think I have the second one on my modded Wii, and I played it for like several hours, and I like it, but I kind of was like, all right, it's kind of repetitive, kind of grindy. I can see why they don't really make this kind of game anymore. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll get back to it eventually. I fired up Brotherhood of Steel, and all I can think about is I really want to go play Dark Alliance because it's obviously a better game.
Yeah.
Brotherhood of Steel, it's not. It's probably one of Interplay's last games. I meant to look this up, but I'm guessing they just try to they wanted to make the Fallout franchise appeal like mainstream to people, so it's a top-down action RPG when the combat is not very good. The map is hard to follow. There's no direction for like quests or anything. So I mean, it's not great.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a big Fallout fan, I guess there's co-op too. I think.
I think
don't think there's much of a difference with any of the classes. You only get to pick from 3 classes, and it's like a taste of Fallout. I guess is the best way to describe it. It's probably the worst game in the series. Worst
hands down.
And worst game in the tactics. It's pretty crappy. And this morning, I opened up my Neo Geo Mini, hooked up the controller, played a little bit, and just its little mini cab, and then I hooked it up to my TV. It's actually pretty good. The emulation is pretty decent, and there's some games on there that are from later Neo Geo titles that I had never played before. So that's good. If you're gonna get it though, the gamepad is really nice to have, nice and clicky. Works great for fighting games.
Yeah.
Played some Metal Slug 5, King of Fighters, Last Played. So I had a pretty good time with it. I'm glad I got it I think I paid $50 last year, and it was as cheap as $30.
Yeah, it was $30 the other day. They keep coming back in stock on Amazon for $30. But I've thought about buying it, but it's
too.
I don't know. It would just sit on my shelf like the other ones do. I would never, And I'm not much into fighting games anymore. So, and that's what 75% of it is fighting games.
There's some action games, a couple sports games. A couple other platformers, but for the most part, it's fighting games.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a fan of Neo Geo and you want a taste of the system without, spending a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
It's not a terrible thing. But that's it. Just playing lots of stuff, just getting through the backlog and playing some games and, trying to get things done.
What co-op game y'all going to play next? Since now that you finished Affinity.
I don't know. We've been talking about it. People are like Borderlands. Like we played Borderlands 3, and the other 2 that I played with Borderlands 3 had beaten the pre-sequel and 2 already. I don't know. Far Cry 5. We talked about Far Cry 5. My friend is pretty busy right now. So Far Cry 5 maybe. I don't know. Got other suggestions for me?
Oh no.
Monster Hunter has co-op in it.
Yeah, Monster Hunter. That's a good one.
It's true. He might be into that. He likes RPGs. He's a big Final Fantasy guy, like back in the day. like Nintendo, Super Nintendo era, so anything like that.
We were trying to play Red Dead, but I got busy, and then my buddy got busy, so we haven't played Red Dead in a while. But we were doing it co-op.
Still has that because we played multiplayer for a while with that.
Yeah.
But Far Cry 5 might be the game. Might be short enough to give the old co-op try and see what.
I was going to try to pick it up when it was on sale the other day, but they sold out of them before I could grab one.
I checked in the morning, like, I'll buy it at like lunch. Went back at lunch. I was like, oh great.
It was gone because it was like $10. I was like, I haven't played it. That's why I asked in the chat. It's like, man, I haven't played Far Cry since like Far Cry 2. Is Far Cry 5 any good? Does anybody play?
And then somebody mentioned one of the Assassin's Creed game, Unity. Does Unity have co-op?
Can't remember if it's that one that has co-op or not. One of them had co-op.
I don't think that one did.
Was it Syndicate that had co-op?
No.
Maybe.
Syndicate has the two characters that you play as at different points.
Okay, that must be
co-op.
the thing.
I think Unity actually is the one that's co-op because that's the one that did Brand.
Unity has co-op.
And I'm pretty sure that's the one that had the co-op that was not different than the stuff they did before this, all the multiplayer stuff. This was actually like co-op modes.
Yeah, it has.
I haven't played it, but I remember
always
seeing stuff about it.
When Dennis was talking about his shipping story, I have to share this. Recently, I bought something from GameStop, and it came in the same sort of envelope as he was describing, and it was the wrong thing. Thank you very much, GameStop. And I was very frustrated because it's something I wanted for a while, and it was a pretty good deal.
It's like a signature almost. It's
just like, you sent me the French version. Thank you.
That's what they had in stock. They just didn't know it was the French version.
But it just also reminds me, too, last year I paid a little bit of money. I got Resident Evil 4, the Collector's Edition, in the red tin for GameCube. The GameStop had the exclusive. And I also got Capcom vs. SNK for Dreamcast from a guy on Facebook, a guy with a lot of reputation. I said, please pack this well. They sent me some pictures of it before it went in the mail. Great. It was packed very poorly. The SNK case, completely destroyed. Game disc is fine. And then the tin of Resident Evil was covered in scratches. I was like, you've shipped hundreds of things. Spend the extra few dollars. And then I got into an argument with him, and it didn't get anywhere. Everything works. I'm just annoyed.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Pack your stuff. Like, every time I ship something, I pack it like I would want to receive it. Last year when I sold the PC games to Germany, I packed the heck out of those. Triple packed it. It went into a cardboard box, wrapped in bubble wrap, and then into another box with more packing material because I'm like, I want this to arrive like I would get it. Not like
and if they want to pay the money for it, absolutely. I'm gonna. There's a lot of people that charge on places that I'll charge $7 for shipping and then spend like $3 to ship it. Just throw it in the bag and ship it.
Or cartridges, like little Game Boy carts, or like DS carts that come in like a regular envelope, which is posted on. I'm like, that's gonna go through the shredder. Because I remember on Back to Bits, you and Danny were talking about Game Gear stuff arriving like that, just like in a. Or no, it was Game Boy stuff, just arriving in a regular envelope.
Yeah, and they run those things through sorting machines that are just thick enough for an envelope to go through, and thicken it a little bit. But you try to run something like that, that's why stuff gets all shredded and tore up, is because it backs a machine up because you cram something in there.
It cost me $1 to ship it, not $4.
My favorite packages to get are the ones that have been destroyed in shipment, and then like UPS just throws them in a bag, ties them off, and then sends it. Then go ahead and send it to you, and then you just come home and there's a bag with a torn up box and stuff, and then it says, "Sorry, this was damaged. Here was everything that was in it."
I have not one of those yet, but I can just imagine you coming home. It's a trash bag with like a sign on it.
It's like a little. I've gotten them once or twice. They're just little see-through plastic bags with the box just in shreds. I mean, it's just absolutely in shreds. Where it's like.
Did you throw it at someone? Did the dog drag it down the street? I need to know.
I don't.
Honestly,
even know.
They'd be better off just pretending they lost it.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, I mean, and that's where I would just be like, if it was me, I would just be like, yeah, I'm not scanning this again. We'll just wait, and they'll just scan that one.
I think it would be better if they included a note. Sorry, sir, your package fell off the truck, and another truck ran over it. Like, all right, well, at least you're honest.
I wish Spinner was in the chat tonight because he's a UPS driver, so he could tell us why they all this stuff. But he's not here tonight. So
Are you familiar with Final Destination? Because that's what happened to your package.
yeah. I was just I saw the first 3 or 4 of those movies when they first came out back in the day, and the one that sticks in my mind as the most was the one girl that got hit by the bus or the train or whatever it was, because she was just standing there talking like this, and just bam, she was just gone.
For me, it was the logs, just the big 18-wheeler with like tree logs in the back. Every time I see one in the highway, I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, I'm not driving behind this.
Final Destination 2.
Yeah, I'm not driving behind this. Yeah. I know where this is going.
That's not for me. That's not for me.
I always think about that when I go through logging country. It's like, because it's all I do is follow trucks with the. So, yeah. So anyway, Dennis, what have you been playing?
Well, I won't get too much into it, just because I feel like I feel like this is going to be, at least this first game is going to be the next the answer for a long time. But still playing Animal Crossing, obviously that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing new. The game is still amazing. It's
Oh, he froze. Oh, there you
go. Yeah.
Oh, you froze there for a minute, so I didn't hear anything you said. Yeah,
Discord was editing out all the Animal Crossing talk.
Yeah, enough. Discord said we're not talking about Animal Crossing anymore.
Yeah, Discord just said, look, it's unless you want to go Nitro, we're done with using bandwidth. It's just don't want Animal Crossing. But yeah, before they freeze me again, let me get through this quick. It's still amazing. It's still amazing, and it's my first ever Animal Crossing. I never thought I was gonna. I knew I was gonna enjoy it, but never to the extent that I do now. It's very much just kind of a part, really, of my life, of my daily routine at this point, and it's just amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, without going too much into it, because it's like I said, this game is going to be there on that list for a long time, probably.
Oh yeah.
But after that, I started up Watch Dogs 2. Well, I started that up recently. I played the original Watch Dogs like long time ago.
Yeah, I did too.
And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the original Watch Dogs a lot. Granted, I didn't play it until like 2 years after it came out, because I wanted it to be like patched and finished. But it was finally playable, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I thought the way they did Chicago was great. The story was really fantastic. Watch Dogs 2, I started about 2-ish days ago, maybe. And so I'm not too far into it, but it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. Right now, it's not really topping Watch Dogs 1 for me. But, it's a lot more laid back, a lot more chill.
Wow.
A lot more comedic, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I guess just because of it the kind of atmosphere and the tone that Watch Dogs 1 set was also just very fitting for everything that was going on, just kind of being that vigilante versus just like, I'm just a hacker that just wants to eat the rich, I guess. It's very politically driven, it feels like Watch Dogs 2. And, I want to play a game. I don't want to go through a just like a political campaign. So, but for what it's worth, it's enjoyable. I feel like there's been a lot of downgrades. I don't know, maybe my eyes just aren't working right, but I feel like it looks visually worse than Watch Dogs 1. They did a very good job on San Francisco, though. I think San Francisco is the world that they built with San Francisco is really, really great. The only part is it's like nothing really feels exciting or new, because how many games at this point take place in any part of California, really? California, Miami, New York, whatever. So Chicago was very refreshing, and yeah, it's just like, oh God, we're back here again. Back to, California. Choose any part you want. It's, here we are. Just
San Francisco doesn't get that much in games, though. Like, mostly it's LA.
Yeah.
And but overall, it's it's for what it's worth, it's enjoyable. I don't know how much I want to stick with it, because I do want to beat it, because I beat the first one, really enjoyed it, and I want to see what else Watch Dogs 2 has to offer before I really start making comparisons and really saying, this one was better than that one or something, because again, I'm only a couple hours in, so maybe it does get crazier and crazier later in, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine, you know. It's more Watch Dogs, you know, but it's just doesn't have that, I guess, that draw that the first one did. There's not that.
Yeah.
I guess the character development isn't as good, or yeah. I the best way to explain it, honestly, actually maybe that's a terrible way to explain it. I was gonna say it's because we were on the topic of it earlier, where it's just like I feel like Watch Dogs 2 is Assassin's Creed Unity, and Watch Dogs 1 was like Odyssey. So it's a terrible way of putting it. But
me, Watch Dogs as a franchise is that like does not have that thing that makes you want it. It's one of the least ones that Ubisoft has. It's just like it doesn't have like they tried to make that thing to make it different.
Yeah.
And it just looks like any other open world game.
And that's what I feel about Watch Dogs 2. Like Watch Dogs 1 to me had somewhat of an identity, but Watch Dogs 2 just now feels like more of the same. So of just kind of your typical GTA clone. So it's just, and maybe that's why it's not doing it for me, because it's like I don't want to play yet another GTA clone. It's, you know, unless it's Sleeping Dogs, I'll take another Sleeping Dogs.
Oh
please,
yeah, I would take
Sleeping
that
Dogs,
too.
please. Mm-hmm. For the love of God, please, someone, anybody, like crowdfund it if you need to. You know,
or do another Saints Row. Come on, I'll play one of those.
Yeah,
Saints Row. Yeah, sure.
Although I don't know what they could do with that at this point. Like you're gonna be like Titans in outer space punching planets or something. That one any more crazy than it already is.
Last one was superhero with all the game glitches and stuff, and then like I think I tried to play Gat Out of Hell, like a little bit of it. And I'm like, okay, just doesn't do it for me anymore.
Saints Row the Third is still like the absolute like peak of that game, where it was still like way over the top. It had some goofy, cartoony, crazy stuff in it, but it wasn't like, oh hey, now we don't even drive cars anymore because we're superheroes. We don't care.
Yeah, it
hadn't gone quite that far. So it's like 3 is still kind of like the perfect blend of that game, I think.
Third one had the cheap ass gamer DLC. What was the fourth one? Was that the one where he was president, or is that the third one?
No, fourth one is like your president, and then your superheroes and all sorts of crazy whatever.
Yeah.
Like the third one, you could play as a toilet, and so that's the best.
That's pretty funny.
I forgot about that.
That's why cars.
That's just one of the goofy things in that game. They had all sorts of stuff in that game.
Yeah, they were.
My favorite time in that game was when I took a little just scooter and managed to wedge it in an elevator so I could get it up to the top of my base that was like a skyscraper and see how far I could ramp it off of the building, just doing stupid stuff like that, and that game was fun.
I remember being unemployed, and I had just gotten the second game. I never played the first one because I didn't have a 360. Playing the second one, I was like, wait, it's like GTA, but I like the driving in Saints Row better. Like the driving's better. I can dual wield pistols right away. I'm in. And the humor, and I remember when I was unemployed for a couple, like 3 weeks, I just played Saints Row 2 nonstop and finished all of it. And then, okay, this franchise is definitely interesting.
Yeah, like the first one is very much just a GTA clone. Then the second one is like, well, what if we ramp up the humor a little bit more so it's a little bit on the goofier, fun side that people remember from the older GTAs? Because that one, I think, was about the same time as GTA 4, or at least the first one might have been. I don't remember the timeline, but
4, yeah.
Yeah, and then by the time they get to the third one, we're leaning into the humor on purpose because that's what people really liked about the second one, and we're gonna start you out like doing crazy stuff, and we're gonna have like Kanye West power in here for a while, and just do all sorts of goofy things.
Yeah, they were just like, we don't care, or whatever.
Who owns it right now because Volition's done? Is that Deep Silver owns it?
Yes, I think
so. Yeah.
Maybe we'll see another game.
I'm sure eventually. I can't imagine them not. But
I mean, it's one of those things that it's got the brand name appeal, but do you have a developer that wants to make it? That's the thing. Or one you can tell to make it. I mean, maybe they are making one. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not even sure. Did anyone even pay attention to what was that spinoff, Agents of Mayhem or whatever? Did anyone even?
Agents of Mayhem, that's terrible.
Terrible, yeah.
Yeah. It kind of came and went really quickly and didn't.
It was super cheap, I remember. Right after like a couple months out, my buddy's like, "Yeah, it sucks."
Yeah, dropping like crazy. It was insane.
Yeah, there was a reason why it was so cheap. So, anything else, Dennis? Anything else you've been playing?
Yeah. So yesterday, very exciting. Very exciting. I mean, I'm sure everyone. I mean, easily hands down game of the year for everybody. I'm sure you guys would agree. Hatsune Miku just came out last night, so. project.
I don't even know what that is. I had
It's
to look it up when I saw it on your list.
it's game of the year. That's what it is. But but not really. It's yeah. No, they've always been rhythm games. Hatsune Miku, the Vocaloid superstar of the world. She's been around for I don't even know how long, and then the games have been around for quite some time as well, since PSP, and probably for at least since 2006, maybe I want to say. Not her, but at least those games. So the new one just came out, yesterday. And it's a solid rhythm game. I've always loved rhythm games. I don't know why. I've just always been drawn to them, whether it's DDR or Guitar Hero or Hatsune Miku or Musinx or DJ Max.
Link Agents on DS was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, that was a solid one. Even what was the weird one that got on 3DS? Final Fantasy Theater. Yeah, that one was an interesting one.
Yeah,
because it was very unique. So I respected it for being very unique, but it was just odd in the way that how you played it. It was. I don't know. I just feel like it could have been executed better. But yeah, I mean, there's that as well. Of course, there's what's that one little drum one? Tatsun or something. But that one, there's that one too. I don't know. I've just always loved rhythm games. Something about them that's always drawn to me. They're very relaxing to me, and especially if they have great music on top of it. It's just it just makes you want to just keep going and going and going. And even like on the phone, well, I guess it is on Switch now too. On the phone, a game called Sidus. Sidus is just. I mean, the art direction of it, the music they have a little bit of everything. They have a great story, a great world on top of it, which I love. But Hatsune Miku is just definitely a lot more arcadey, though, because they have the arcade cabinets all over Japan for Hatsune Miku. But this is very much just a core, cabinet at home. It's nothing special. It's not doing anything special like Diva X did or F2 or any of the VR ones, on PlayStation, because there's not really much to it, which is, it could be a pro and a con for depending on how you look at it. But the thing about the other ones, like even Project Mirai on 3DS, you had kind of a story there. You had dialogue. You could interact with the modules. You could, design your own room, kind of this own, like diva room if you wanted to, and you had interactive menus and stuff like that. This one is very much just like, here's a main menu. You press start, select rhythm, select the song, play. That's all. It's very bare bones, at least in terms of, the gameplay. There's over 100 songs, and it's and great songs, but they're missing a lot of classics. And even through all the DLC packs that they have, they're still missing a lot that people really want. Like I know there's two in particular that I was looking for, and I was like, oh, maybe it's a DLC pack, and it's not even the DLC packs. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm just 2 songs out of 100 plus 2 songs. It's all I want. Just 2 songs. And even with DLC, it's still not there. So, and then Future Tone is the name of the game that came out before it on PlayStation. That is almost, not all of it, but almost Hatsune Miku's like entire catalog. That's on PlayStation. So they had 2 season-ish passes, if you can call them that. They were $30 a piece, which basically made for a $60 game. And you could download it for free, but it only gave you like 3 or 4 songs. And then the other, if you spend $60 on it, that would give you everything. So but like over 250 songs, stuff like that. And it was very, very good. And it's far from perfect, but it's still a good, considering this is her first game on the Switch, it's still a good entry point. And I think, whether you're just looking for a solid rhythm game or you're just a big Miku fan in general, it's worth picking up. But I do have my problems with it, because I've played all the other Miku games that were available on Vita. I bought them on PS4 as well, just because I was like, oh, well, just so I can have it.
Right.
If I want, cross save, whatever. If I'm like, let me just play it on the TV, and then I'll do it that way. But 90% of my, Project Diva gaming has been on Vita. So, and they look great on Vita. So it's weird that, they kept saying like, it's built from the ground up for Switch. It's got its own art, it's got its own graphics, specific graphics, and it does look good. It's very pretty. It's a little more cell shaded and stuff like that. It looks very good, but the resolution is really low and the loading times are like crazy long. And I'm like, and meanwhile, everything looked super crisp on the Vita, and, I'm like, what? I don't know. It's just hard for me to wrap my head around of like, you're still having some frame drops as well. They're not like too consistent, but they're there, and especially on a game like that where the button prompts are coming from all over the screen, and it's like, if you can lose that rhythm and that sync, if you think you press a button at the right time, but because you missed a frame, all of a sudden, you go from a perfect to a good, or so on, or even like a lesser score because of it, so
Right.
it can become problematic and kind of hinder the gameplay a little bit. And like you'll wait upwards of like 45 seconds just for a song to play when you select a song. I'm like, what? I don't understand. Like you have a music video in the background. Well, what are we loading?
Yeah.
Like, can someone explain to me what are we loading? Because this is ridiculous. So. Yeah, it can be a little problematic, but other than that, again, as a pure rhythm game, it's great. But I just feel like they could have offered a lot more. I'm a little worried because I hope it does well. But the last time Project Mirai on 3DS, I think, I could be wrong, but I think might have been the first time Miku was on a Nintendo system, because they've always been on PlayStation before. So, and that Project Mirai came out, at least in Japan, back in 2012, I think. So I think we got it a couple years later, but it was 2012 for Japan. So, Miku now on Switch is basically 7 or 8 years later, give or take. So, are we going to have to wait almost another decade for another Miku game on a Nintendo console? So it's just kind of upsetting, where it's just like, I know you could have done more. I know you could have added a lot more, especially since this was supposed to be, it's called Mega Mix. It's meant to be like a celebration of the kind of history, because I think this year is like her, I don't know, some anniversary or something, but she's been around for a while at this point. So it was kind of a celebratory thing, and it's like, this is how you celebrate. It's like, I just imagine going to a birthday party, and the cake, is just really, really small. It's like, there's 50 of us here. We only got about 4 slices.
There's a cupcake.
Right. So like, how are we gonna split this? Like, the cake is good, but now everyone only gets a bite versus their own slice. So.
Well, it's like you were talking about the frame rate problem. I watched the Digital Foundry's video on the Wonderful 101 remastered, and they were talking about how the frame rate on the Switch version in places is worse than it was on the Wii U version. Oh yeah.
How do you even do that?
I don't know. They were showing side by side comparisons, and there is some like at the beginning of the game where they have the bus scene.
That's right.
They have the cutscene. There are some places that in docked mode on the Switch that drops down to 20 frames a second. It's like, how is that even possible? Apparently, what they said was, if you play Wonderful 101 in handheld mode, that is the closest version that you will get to the Wii U version running wise.
I wonder if it's something with just the way it was developed. Like,
I don't
say
know.
it was optimized for Wii U's hardware, right? And for some reason they're having, it's like the Saturn's hardware, right?
Yeah.
Pain to emulate.
Well, they said, Digital Foundry said, if you want to play the best version of the game, play it on PC or a PlayStation 4 Pro. It will get a consistent 60 frames a second on those two consoles. So if you play it on a regular PlayStation 4 or a Switch dock, you're not going to get, it's going to hover around 30 to 50. It kind of flows, ebb and flows. Why they didn't just lock it at 30 frames a second, I don't know. It probably would have run a whole lot better.
A stable frame rate of stretch goal, or what was?
I don't know. I don't have a clue. But
boost the frames.
But after watching that video, it's like, yeah, I've got that pre-ordered physical. I'm maybe thinking about canceling it and just
I might just get it on PC instead.
Like Steam copies for like $15 or $20, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll get it on Steam, even if this mid-range gaming PC from years ago.
I have it on Wii U, so it's like, okay, if it's not really any better on Wii U, then the Switch version isn't much better than the Wii U version. Then why would I spend $40 on it?
Right.
PAX East, if you played it before, it's pretty much the same.
Oh, I'm sure, but this time it's going to get out to a lot larger audience, and it's a very unique game, and I do recommend playing it if you've never played it before. It is really cool, but. You get a lot of those little characters online and are on the screen, and it just really drags down that frame rate on the Switch, and it was kind of sad. It's like, man, I didn't expect it to run 60 frames a second. I'll say that.
Well, not only is that, I mean, that's weird in a lot of ways because it's not like Platinum is new to, the Switch or the Wii U, just working with Nintendo in general. I mean, we just had Astral Chain not that long ago. It was great. So,
and it's not like there's there's tons of other ports from the Wii U to the Switch that run fine.
Yeah.
So there must be something weird about this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. As of right now, I still have it on pre-order, so I'll see when I get it. But and as somebody who plays their Switch right now more in handheld than docked mode anyway, maybe it won't be that big of a difference that I would notice. But yeah, go watch that Digital Foundry's video where you can see where some of those frame rates dip like something insane. It was like, holy crap. But,
I definitely want to see those benchmarks. I love Digital Foundry, so I'm definitely gonna watch that. That blows my mind. I don't know, but did someone else take care of the porting process? Is that why, or was it still Platinum? Just
as far as I know, it was still Platinum. I'm not 100% on that, but as far as I know, it was Platinum. I haven't dug that deep into it. After watching that Digital Foundry's video, I was just kind of sitting there going. I was like, what? It's like, okay. So I haven't dug that deep in it because I'm still kind of got a little bit of shock to me. So it's like,
just you telling me that I'm just trying to wrap my head around how and why.
Yeah. We'll watch it. I mean, and then me and you could talk offline about it or whatever. It's very, very surprising. So. But anyway, let's get into the news real quick. There's a couple of little news stories, just a few little news stories. Some of these little news stories really set off some people.
One of them is little.
Yeah, one of them is little. The first one I put in here was that Epic showed off the Unreal 5 engine running on a PS5. Looked friggin' phenomenal.
It's gorgeous.
Did you realize that they were supposed to do that at GDC and people were going to be able to play it?
No, I didn't. But you know what I was thinking at the time, that Sony and Epic should have showed that before they had their big in-depth GDC technical video.
Both of those things were supposed to be at GDC and got delayed, and so then they get separated, and then it's all a little weirder than if they all happen at the same time. You have a lot more to chew on of here's all the technical stuff and here's all the pretty whiz bang that you can see stuff together, and now they're separated by weeks.
Yeah, and I think it was done very conveniently because I think they knew that Microsoft was going to have a video presentation of something with gameplay footage from games. So now was the time to, show that Unreal 5 engine, which, okay. The thing that kills me with it is, yes, it looks pretty. Yes, it's awesome. Yes, it's, the lighting in it was fantastic. The realism, everything was great, wonderful. It's going to look like that on Xbox. It's going to look like that on PC if your PC's high enough. I mean, this even scales back to current gen consoles and Switch. It'll work on that. A little bit. I'm not going to say like that. The engine
itself is going just like any Unreal engine. Like you have somebody down to mobile, you can adjust things, but it's not going to look all that whiz bang features.
Right.
You need
Yeah.
the high end
Yeah.
hardware.
No.
Knowing a lot of what they're talking about through that demo was like, I'm like, this is insane. If you're actually able to pull, like, this is real. This is crazy. Some of the stuff you're pulling off right now. It's kind of interesting digging into it because, like, if you want, speaking of Digital Foundry, watch their breakdown video of it, not their reaction, but they have an actual breakdown where they're going through and analyzing the footage and seeing, like, okay, this is obviously being something kind of like screen space reflections where it's doing stuff in real time, but it's only if it's on stuff that's on camera, so you can see, like, when the character moves for a frame or two, there's like a little bit of a thing where the shadows catch up, but like the latency on it is really quick.
Yeah.
Like when they turn the lights on and off and all this stuff. And then that lighting stuff is really nice, and it's kind of like halfway between what games do now and then just pure ray tracing. It's something in the middle, which is neat. So you can combine it with ray tracing. So maybe it lets devs in the future like do all these tricks together to get something that looks amazing.
Yeah.
But the geometry stuff, that's what I think is voodoo magic. That's the one I'm very skeptical about.
Yeah.
Because anytime someone says it just works, no, that's not how it works. You're not just gonna throw like billions of film quality assets in there with so much, geometry in there and get stuff like, oh, the engine just figures it out and it works just fine. They're gonna have to put a lot of work into it to get it to work in the engine. Yeah. Like, it'll take some steps out for what they have to do with models now, and it'll add other different steps. I don't think it's going to speed stuff up, or at least to start with, because it's a completely new way of people putting games together and putting assets in there, so that it will be like getting used to that. And we're not going to see anything using that for a long time.
Well, no, it doesn't
come out till 2021.
Sometime,
the engine itself.
Yeah, then it
sometime in 2021.
Yeah, does it come out at the beginning of 2021? Does it come out at the end, in the middle, and then you got what? At least probably 2 or 3 years before you're going to see a game.
You can start in the current engine and then port it. It supposedly still works when you put it into 5. So then you could maybe like start now and then like work on all the new stuff that comes with the new engine later, but still it's going to be at least a year plus after that before we see anything. It's going to be towards the tail end of this new generation of consoles that aren't even out yet,
right,
that we see stuff that looks like that demo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about how long it took in this current generation to get something cranked out like God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn.
Go back and watch the Unreal Engine 4 tech demo.
Oh yeah.
And then this one. There's some differences in what they're like, how they're presenting. This one was a lot more like, look, it's quote a game that we're playing. It's not just like running an engine, kind of like the old Unreal Engine demos used to be. But still, like, this is a tech demo.
Yeah.
So they are making it look as good as it possibly can in a very, very small snippet, despite, yes, it has some grand vistas and lots of like, crazy geometry and things that you're going through. It looks really cool, but it's not an actual game.
Well, and that wasn't even fully running at full 4K and 60 frames a second. It was 1440p and 30 frames, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't even, the resolution wasn't even as high as you could possibly get it.
But even then, think of, even at that, how much storage space would you need for a full game with assets that are at 8K and all this stuff that they're talking about on that demo? Like,
I mean,
it ain't gonna fit on the console. They only got so much storage space on their, fancy new SSDs and all that.
After I've thought about this all week, even before the Unreal Engine came out, because that'll kind of skip ahead to the Inside Xbox story. That show came out, and they showed a lot of, it was third party, it wasn't first party, gameplay.
I have a good analogy for the Inside Xbox. They took, from an E3 press conference, they took that 2-minute long trailer that just has like several clips of games that are coming out, and then they made it into a full Inside Xbox thing, and it's all those things is like, hey, cool, we've got this too, but now it's like that's all they showed there. And then on top of that, you have the whole thing about like Assassin's Creed, where like we're gonna show gameplay, and then you don't.
Like 3 seconds.
And it's like they even show less than what they showed in the trailer that already came out of the week before. So it was just kind of like, all right, that you set expectations wrong on that one. Xbox.
You really did. And the best looking game that I thought they showed was the very first one. as far as
Bright
how
memory.
it looked. It was Samurai Swords and Machine Guns, whatever that game was called. It was the very first one. I don't
remember.
It was the one where they kept
What order they were.
shooting.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was Bright Memory is what it's called. I've had that one on my Steam.
yeah, Bright Memory. Yeah, you're right. So,
But I mean, all of the games they showed look like they could run easily on the current generation.
Oh, yeah.
As far as like how they look, right?
Yeah.
They just look like games we get now. Which
Well-
is cool that they're coming to the new console, but they're not showing that whiz bang like, hey, you need this in the box, right?
Well, and you're not going to get that from smaller third party publishers anyway, especially right off at the beginning of a gen. But I was thinking, what gen is this now? Gen 11, Gen 10? I don't know. Whatever it is, I've been around for most all of them. Yeah. And I remember going from 16-bit to 32-bit, from Genesis to PlayStation 1. That was huge because you went from 2D to 3D. You could see all these, and even though the 3D wasn't, looking back at it, it doesn't hold up. It wasn't that great. Still, that was a huge leap. When we were playing Genesis, we were playing what you could play in the arcade and going, it can't get any better than this. And then all of a sudden 3D comes out on a CD-based console, and we're just like, whoa, that's crazy. And then from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3, that era of games kind of creeping into the high def, creeping into more of the 3D, the movie type, cinematic type games. That was a big leap. I don't think that you're going to get a huge leap since then. Even from 3 to 4, it wasn't a humongous leap. Resolution got better, load times got better.
I think the leaps are in things that aren't like all the leaps you're talking about are like, look how cool and pretty this looks.
Exactly.
The leaps come in elsewhere that's a little more subtle as far as just like you have more memory so that you can have way more animations in there. You can have way more complicated AI.
Yeah.
You can have things load in faster so that you don't have all the weird like loading, crawling through tiny spaces stuff that you have in games.
Right.
Now. Like it's all going to be subtle changes that add up to like you look like once these new consoles come out and have been out for like 5 years, and you look back, you're like gonna realize, oh hey, wow, this actually did change a whole lot more than we thought it was going
right.
to.
And
we're
that's
just not there yet.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting to. It's like, now it's not so much graphics that change. It's more of, the little tweaks you could do with it, the better processing, the more RAM, the faster hard drives for load times, and this and that, and little things like that.
SSDs are the biggest thing.
Oh,
in
yeah.
These new ones.
Yeah.
That's the biggest change.
But man, when this Unreal demo came out, man, the Sony, the Super Sony fanboys that had gotten pushed back in the closet from everything that they came out going, look what the PlayStation 5 could do, and I'm going, wait a minute.
But, I mean, sure, cool. Yes, it's impressive. They're running it on a PS5. Cool. Yep. They could have done the same thing with Xbox. It's just they happen to be doing
right.
It made it seem like the engine was exclusive or something.
Yeah. Well,
you do realize what Unreal Engine is, right?
Yeah. And you do realize that Sony paid a lot of money to Epic to say, hey, let's display this on the PlayStation 5, make this, and who knows how long it took them to make it. I'm sure it just didn't take them, 2 or 3 days to whip this up and go, here it is.
They were working on the thing for a long time.
Oh, yeah. For just, what was it, 10 minutes? 10 minutes of gameplay, whatever it was. I mean, I watched it, but I don't remember how long it was. Was it awesome? Yes. Is it something
the whole video is about 9 minutes. The actual, demo itself is probably closer to 7 because I talk a little bit at the beginning of it.
But what people got to understand is this is the same thing. This is what Xbox will look like eventually. This is what PC gaming will look like, because now you're getting a parity in consoles, and it's just an engine. It's just an engine. Where the rubber's going to meet the road is where your first party games, if Microsoft comes out here in July when they have their next presser with their first party games like Halo and stuff like that, and blows people away right off the bat, then yes. But I don't even think that's going to be a huge leap like that is that quick. It just can't be. It takes years to.
Well, you don't get it. I mean, maybe with something like Halo, where it's Microsoft itself, and they've been able to know, okay, this is our target hardware, we can develop for it, and they're going to know it way earlier than any of the other, studios, even the ones that they've purchased, right? Maybe, but even then, just look at the beginning of like what Xbox One and PS4 versus where we're at now with them, with what games look like.
Do you guys
another console launch? They're not going to be as cool and awesome at the very beginning as they are, a couple years in.
I keep going back in my brain to that Killzone video back when they announced the PlayStation 4.
Different though. That's a lot of fakery, which they're not really doing.
Well, I know that. I know they're not doing that, but that comes to my brain because everybody went, "Oh my God, look how great PlayStation 4 is going to be!" And then when the rubber met the road, it wasn't like that until
I thought it was a PS3.
Well, PS3, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. I meant PS3. I said PS4, but PS3.
PS4, when they showed Shadowfall, was just like, look at the reflections on the windows.
Oh, yeah, it's like, but even that. I mean, how far into the console life did it take for God of War to come out? 4 years, 4 or 5 years. And you see,
there's stuff before then that still looks amazing.
Too. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not saying
it's not
that,
like that's the first game that looked
no. But I mean, this is the bar that PlayStation 4 set. Now it's like, if it doesn't look as good as Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War, I mean,
look at Uncharted 4. Mm-hmm. That game was before either of those two, and it still looks really great now.
Still he does.
But that's because it's not
right.
You're gonna have. I think something tells me they're gonna do again this next gen. What they did with this current gen, which each had their own kind of exclusive that was like a game, but more of a tech demo. In PlayStation's case, it was The Order, 1886.
Yeah. And that game looks great. Plays okay-ish.
Yeah, exactly. It looks great. Plays okay.
In Xbox's case, it was Rise, Son of Rome, which was their version, which was like, here's this gorgeous game, which I still think is one of the most beautiful games on the Xbox.
It is. It was really good looking. The play was okay. The story was okay.
I hope
they were both QTEs. That's all they were. No.
The things I'm hoping with Unreal Engine 5 is it's actually going to come to pass. What they're saying is going to happen is it's going to allow for more streamlined development so that some of these medium-sized companies or smaller whatever can have stuff that looks as good as some of these bigger companies, or at least try to get that bar. Think of something like Hellblade. Yeah. Hellblade was a fairly small team that made it, and that game looks great. I'm pretty sure that was Unreal game.
I'm pretty sure.
So have teams that are like medium, double A, what you would think of in the past. So it's not like your Ubisofts or anything, or maybe it is in there, but it's a smaller team within it. What you could do if you got rid of some of the like development pipeline stuff that you have to do all these things. Suddenly, if you take a chunk of that away and you can still get something that looks like really good at the end, maybe that lets them make something, and it keeps the overhead low enough that they can have something that looks just as amazing as something as a first party, or at least narrows the gap.
Right. Yeah, I mean it was impressive. Yeah, I mean it was impressive. I'm not going to lie. No, but I'm keeping my excitement tempered because I know that's going to be on. I know that's
at the very least it gave us something pretty to look at and be like, ooh, I hope it gets there, right?
Yeah.
I'm always excited for, as great as Unreal 5 looks, and there's no denying it, I'm always excited for what people are going to do from a, in terms of like in-house, like proprietary engines, right? Yeah. Like the RE engine has done some incredible things to me. Just like what I've seen, I just think it looks gorgeous with, what do they use it for so far? Like Devil May Cry 5 and of course Resident Evil remake.
I'm less excited about that now because of this Unreal Engine is so new as far as how it handles stuff. If it really is as different under the hood, I hope more people are going to jump on that than it is like all these like engines that people have in house are still going to be doing the old way at this point because they didn't know this technology, or maybe they have also been doing something similar. But
Frostbite engine. Oh,
Epic.
Excuse me.
No,
sorry.
Frostbite is the headache that everyone hates.
I know that's what I was meaning. It's like,
unless you're making a Battlefield game, you're like, well, we
Yeah,
made
you
it
need
for
to
this
get-
game,
I
and
mean,
that's
they
why
even-
it kind of works here.
oh my gosh,
And even then, it has its issues.
Ugh.
It was made for first-person
Ugh.
shooters, not made for other games.
Yeah.
Why do they keep making everybody use it? And
I
like
don't either. I don't
all
know.
the headaches and stuff. Like maybe they will
Ubisoft's
never.
got their own too. It's what is it, Snowdrop or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean it. But you know, oh my gosh, it was like that day that came out. I had to stay off Twitter because it was just like everybody was like, "Look, it's Sony, PlayStation, Play." This is not just PlayStation. You've got to understand. And I'm not going to try to explain it to people because it's like talking to a brick wall. You know, it's
At
like
the very
talking
least,
to your dog,
this
you're
gives
like,
everybody a nice target to aim for.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this looks real next gen. It looks really, really shiny. Let's hope we can try and make it there.
yeah, exactly. Like I said, we were talking a little bit about the Microsoft thing. Not a whole lot came out. There was a lot of horror games in that thing. Holy crap!
There was, yeah.
If you're a horror game,
That Giger one was like
I-
really, really pretty looking
Yeah.
and really very good at being creepy HR Giger
Yeah.
nonsense. Like they love that guy, you can tell
It's
because they put
terrifying.
a lot of work into it. I don't know what the game is gonna be, but the trailer was kind of cool.
yeah,
And then like Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2 looks really good, but it's
Yeah.
looked good before. So.
the game that
excited.
shocked me the most that was in that list of games they showed was the new Yakuza game.
There are 5.
Yeah, the thing about it was with that one is boy, that
Is that a-
trailer. What's that?
Is that like a version of a Yakuza game from Japan and they're renaming it for here, or is
No,
it a new game?
It's a
of some
new
sort?
game, but the thing about it is it's not entirely an action game like the normal games. It's more of an RPG strategy type of game.
Mhm.
The way that trailer made it look like it was just like any other Yakuza game where you're going to walk through streets and beat people up and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, that is not what that game is like at all.
No.
Who remembers the kind of April Fool's video Sega put up forever ago? That was
Yeah.
like Yakuza, but like in an RPG turn-based format.
Yeah.
And then that's what it ended up being like months later down the line when Yakuza 7 / Like a Dragon, whatever they're calling it, because it's people don't Kiryu anymore, so it's a whole new
Yeah, it's a
you
whole new everything.
production
But
level. Yeah. So and then everyone was like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you weren't joking about that April Fool's video.
no, you
Yeah.
were fooling about that. That's real.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
At least they wanted to test the waters at first, so just
Yeah.
people being like, you know what, honestly, I probably get that. And then
Yeah.
when they announced, everyone was like, oh my god, you did it.
Yeah.
You did it. You actually did.
And not during that announcements, there was 9 more titles that'll be smart delivery with Series X. One of them is Madden Football 21, but there is a catch to it. Yeah, quotations. As you see, Nathaniel went quotations for those
Yep.
listening at home.
It's going to be that for a limited time.
Yeah, for a limited time. I think it's from release date to December 31st of 2020.
Yeah, like you have just a few months to buy
Yeah.
it for this gen, and then you only have so many months after that to upgrade to the new one on. So if you don't buy the new console right away, then it doesn't matter anyways.
Oh, EA.
Thanks, EA.
Yeah, thanks a lot, EA.
Thanks for screwing up the new generation of consoles before it's even started.
It's all right. I don't buy Madden games till they're like $15 anyway. So, so they're several years out. So, yeah.
John, it's Madden 2020 and it's the year 2025.
Yeah.
How much is it? $2?
$2, I'll buy it. It's like,
But hey, the game isn't really all that different, so it's fine.
Yep. And the last bit of news that I put in was they had Sony presented 18-minute look, 18 minutes of Ghost of Tsushima.
This is how you show a game.
This is how you show a game.
I don't
And-
know if this game is for me, but I'm pretty interested in what they show.
Oh, it's
so
for
for
me.
me.
It is
It's for-
so for me.
It's like they're taking a bunch of pieces of other really great things because
Oh,
you can
I
see some
know.
Assassin's Creed in there.
Yeah.
I see some stuff that reminds me of
Sell me on the
Sekiro.
combat.
Uh-huh.
I see some stuff that makes me think Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Like there's so many like little things, but then they're kind of remixing it to make their own amalgam, and it's this beautiful looking other thing, and it has like the really cool black and white.
That's
mode
what I
in
was
it.
just
Like,
getting ready to
there's
say.
so many cool
I can
things.
play that game in black and white, and it's
and white.
just an old
I
samurai
want to
movie.
see what that. I'd have to get a. Wait, no, because they do HDR and regular PlayStations,
Mhm.
don't
Yep.
they? Yeah, so I want to see what that looks like in black and white, the HDR to give it the wider range, so you can get really deep blacks and bright whites. I bet that'll look really cool.
Yeah,
stunning. Absolutely.
But there's no way I'm going to do it in black and white first.
Right? No. Yeah. What now? What, Eric?
Yeah, it's a new IP.
Yeah, it's totally new.
Yeah, new
Sucker
IP,
Punch.
right? There's nothing else. Okay.
No, yeah. It kind of reminds me of it. I get vibes of how they did Mad Max, Fury Road, where they had the black and chrome edition that came out later down the line.
That's a good comparison too, because that movie is so colorful. So I want to do this game first with all the colors, but then if I did like a replay, I'd do it in like the black and white.
Yeah, I would too.
Because it's just as cool in a different way.
I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, this is a way to show a game, because I was like, thought it'd look pretty in all the trailers and stuff they'd shown before, but I was like, what is the game? I don't know what the game is. And now that they've shown the game, like, I'm in. I'm sold. I know what this is. I want it.
I follow one of the devs on. Me and him follow each other on Twitter, so I've been seeing stuff that he posts for the past 2 years on it. So I was in a long time ago. This just solidified that I'm buying that Steelbook version from from Amazon for $80 or $70, however much it is. Because usually I'm just like, okay, I'll just buy the regular. Nope, I got to buy that Steelbook Deluxe version. I've got to have that. So I've already paid for, pre-ordered, just waiting on July 17th to get here, and it's going to take forever. Because we're not even halfway through May, and it feels like we should be in June.
It's good for it to come out in July, because July is usually a pretty quiet month for games.
Well, and it got shoved back because Last of Us got shoved back. So you've got Sony with their last 2 big games, just one right after the other. Which I'm not a Last of Us fan anyway. So
the same as it was going to be, just kind of pushed back by a month, because it was going to be May and June. Now it's June and July.
Yeah, June and July. So
my buddy got super excited the other day. He's like, the LE edition's in stock. The LE edition's in stock. I bought it. That's like the $250 version of Last of Us 2. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'm gonna buy either the regular one or
I do want the
Steelbook. I bought the one that came with the Steelbook. I'm like, good enough for me.
I bought none of them.
I don't need the statue, and I really don't need the backpack. Backpack is kind of cool.
I'm just super excited for both games.
Yeah.
There we go.
Get Last of Us, finish it before the next game comes out, and then have another cool game to play in July.
And when is Cyberpunk? Is that
September?
September.
Okay. All right. All spreads it out.
Unless it gets pushed back, it is September.
Yeah, and it could
ban it all out.
Hopefully not, but maybe it will. Who knows? I've got it on pre-order too, so it's fine.
So, quick question: if we're going to pre-order from GameStop, you should ideally pay all of it right now, right? Instead of putting money down potentially. I was thinking about that because, obviously now it's not like you can pre-order in store really. So if you pre-order from GameStop, you should probably pay for all of it.
Or just don't pre-order from GameStop.
Well, if you pre-order if you pre-order online from GameStop, you won't get charged until the game ships.
Yeah.
Just like you do on Amazon.
Like they don't ship. You never get it launch day, do you? Unless you have to pay like the expedited shipping. It's really stupid.
I don't know. I don't ever pre-order online from GameStop unless I do in store.
I've always gotten my stuff day one from Best Buy. Always.
See, I've always got mine from Amazon day one. So
Amazon's day one, but I haven't gotten something from Amazon in a while, so I don't know if they still do day one.
Yeah, as far as I know, they do. They I haven't bought a whole lot of new day one games here lately. So, but the last one I did, they did. I've got Xenoblade coming up. So,
yeah, the last physical one I got, I think, was I remember Kakarot maybe back in January. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. God, was that really the last one? My God, yeah, because the Animal Crossing I did.
We got Animal Crossing.
But I think it might get their release date, or it might be like a day later. Sometimes I think it just depends.
See, I always pre-order from Amazon because 1, they don't charge, and 2, I could use gift cards to prepay over time. Because the way it's worked, right see the way it's been working with me is where I'm in hotels during the week. I stay in choice hotels, so I get points. So we don't travel. So those points that you could usually use for a hotel, I use and cash in for Amazon gift cards, and I pay for all my stuff. I haven't paid for a new video game out of pocket, for 2 years now.
Shout out,
Because
Choice Hotels.
yeah, but it's like the other day, it was for a month when we were on the road every day. It was book 2 separate nights, get enough points to get a free night. So by the end of in 2 weeks, I had a $50 gift card, and then 2 weeks later, I had a $50 gift card. And 2 weeks later, I had a $50 gift card. So it was just like, oh, let me pay for Xenoblade Chronicles. Oh, let me pay for Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, let me pay for Animal Crossing. Oh, let me pay for So it works out for me, and I like that because then I can just go on my account on Amazon and go, oh, I need to cash this in, let me cash it in, put it towards this, okay, and then start on the next one. It's kind of like what you do at GameStop, but I don't have to physically go into a store and do it. I can just do it online.
That's Amazon will let us use our Capital One rewards or our Chase rewards, and we can
they let us use our Discover rewards too, so
handy.
Yeah, it's nice, but that's how I've got a list of everything pre-ordered on there, and I take it by months. It's like, okay, this one comes out this month, this one comes out this month. I got to get gift card in time for this month. So right now, I've got everything paid up until Cyberpunk, and I had pre-ordered the Razor Crest $130 Lego set because I've got to have that because it just looks cool. I don't know where I'm going to put it. I don't know.
I wish honestly, now I think about it, I wish Hatsune Miku had a physical edition, because I would have got. I was going to double dip on that. I was going to get the digital.
Well, I was going to ask you if they did. I just assumed they did.
Nope. They did for every single one of the rest, but not for this one for some.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, again, celebration.
We are going to celebrate the 20th anniversary of this game by putting it out digital only.
Digital. However, it does have a really cute price because it's called Mega 39s in Japan. So the price here is $39.39 if you want to buy it. So it's really cute.
Oh,
so yeah, I know.
I can tell you right now, Best Buy does charge you as soon as you order it. For pre-order, Best Buy charges you. I just saw it charge my.
That's true. They charge you right away. Yeah, I've that's where I pre-order majority of my games.
That's fine, but I do like the idea of Amazon doesn't charge you until it's actually shipped. Same thing. GameStop, you said too, right?
Yeah, GameStop does too. I'm fine with that too, as long as I remember it. A lot of times because I could pre-order, a lot of times, and this is what I did with the PS4 and the Xbox One. At that time, I hadn't decided which one I was going to get. So when they came up for pre-order at Amazon, I just went bam, bam, and pre-ordered both of them, since they didn't peg the checking count. So it's like, okay, now I've got to decide, and then I got to remember that I got to cancel one of them before one of them ships. Because if I don't want one, then I'm going to have a $600 or $500 charge on the credit card, and I'm going to have to go, I accidentally did that. Sorry.
Who knows? You might be repeating that this time around.
And I may too. I don't know. This
pre-order them both and then decide later.
Well, that's true. I've thought about that, but I think I'll probably pre-order both of them when they come up, just because they'll probably be hard to get, but I don't think I'm going to buy either one of them at launch. I think I'm just going to stick with the Xbox One X for now.
Yeah, it depends on what they have at launch, which we don't know yet. So
yeah, I mean,
usually it's not super crazy, so probably I was looking back waiting a little bit.
Yeah. PS4, I waited like 3 months, and PS3, I waited 6 or 7 months, but I remember even with the PS3 for the first year, there wasn't really much. And PS4, even worse.
Well, and that's kind of my thing with the Xbox One X and the smart delivery. It's like, well, those games are still going to come out on the Xbox One X, and I can play them on that, and then wait even 6 months or a year, and then upgrade, and then boom, those games are still there, with all the bells and whistles, which is kind of neat. Which, I mean, Sony might do something like that on PS5. I don't know. Who knows? We'll find out someday. That's all we could say right now, is we'll find out someday.
That's right.
I think with all the rumors are true, we're going to know a whole lot more about both of them within a month.
Yeah.
By the time E3 would have been here, we will know more about both.
The only rumor I want confirmed more than anything is if we're really going to get remasters of just about every Mario game ever, because this year's the 35th anniversary. I love Mario so much. It's literally like my favorite thing ever. So I love Mario. I mean, Paper Mario was fine. That I like that announcement. That was a good announcement. But again, if I can get Galaxy remastered, Sunshine remastered, all of that.
Paper Mario is more like Thousand Year Door than some of the other ones, though.
Yeah.
Does anybody know if Target charges you right away? When you
yes, they put a pending charge on your account.
Yeah, Target does, yeah.
And it stays pending till they charge. So
yeah, because I have Indivisible with them. It's still there. So.
I got some gift cards at Target. I could get that special edition for Ghost.
Yeah, I pre-ordered 2 of those G.I. Joe classified figures from Target.
Nice. I'm definitely interested now after watching the video and hearing your guys' excitement about it. So it's always one way to sell me on a game.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's been the game I've been looking forward to for a while.
The combat looks interesting. It looks like methodical, but it doesn't look like, since I've struggled so much with games like Dark Souls, it doesn't look like stuff like that. Or I'm going to find out the hard way.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it looks kind of like a mix between Assassin's Creed combat from the latest 2, but also some of Sekiro thrown in, just not as hard as that would be. I mean, you can't know until we actually play it how difficult it's going to be, but it doesn't look like it'll be as precise as what you'd have to do in Sekiro.
That video shows off some pretty neat art and like the environment and just like,
oh man. Really... I was getting mad Witcher vibes because of the wind.
Yeah,
because
that was
Witcher has so much wind in it that all the trees are blowing around. So because they have that in this game, I'm like, yes, please. It gives you so much atmosphere just to have like things moving. Like,
and you know what?
They're not so static in real life.
That's one thing.
And it changes.
Yeah, and that's one thing I really noticed on Assassin's Creed Odyssey on Xbox One X, from playing it on the S for a little while and then going, or PS4 and then going to the Xbox One X. All of a sudden, I notice leaves floating in the wind all the time. It's like, oh my gosh, there's just so much more. All the trees are moving more like this and that. It was stuff that I didn't, little particle stuff that wasn't coming up on the the S or the PlayStation 4. It's like, oh well, the X has this extra a little bit of power. Now we can put this kind of stuff in here, and I was like, wow, that makes it a little better. It's like it seems more like I'm there. Which that reminds me, Nathaniel, since you've played, me and you have played pretty much all the Assassin's Creed games. Do you like the new?
That I haven't played, but
yeah, but do you like the new combat that was in Origins and this one better than you like what was in like Syndicate and Unity?
Yes,
I do too. But apparently there's...
Although, like, Odyssey is way better than Origins, even.
I think so, too.
The powers that they give you, it gives you more options, and you can tailor it a little bit more than what Origins, a little more narrow.
There's a group of people out there, and I follow a couple of them on Twitter, that every time somebody posts something about the new Assassin's Creed game, they beg them to go back to the combat that was in Syndicate. And I'm like...
Wait... I never played Syndicate. Why? What was the big combat difference? That's interesting.
I mean, it's still kind of like that's the last old style Assassin's Creed game, but it's still at that point the combat is a completely different system than what you would have had in like 1 or 2 or something.
Yeah.
I would, if they were going to go back to something, I would like them to see something more like 1 or 2 where there's a lot more emphasis on the stealth again.
Yeah.
Which supposedly in Valhalla they're saying, some of the stuff they're saying is like, yes, there's supposed to be a lot more stealth here, despite being a Viking who's got axes and chopping people's faces off. Like, who knows? We'll see. But I don't know. I really like how Odyssey, the combat works.
I do too.
When you're sneaking around and when you're just up in everyone's faces.
And I really don't want to go back. And I'm thinking, why does people are like, yeah, I played like Assassin's Creed Odyssey for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour, didn't like the combat, hated it, and I quit playing it. I'm like,
you didn't even get to the combat.
You didn't even play it. You didn't even play it long enough to get.
You got to like maybe the fist fight at the very beginning, and that's it. Like, that's not the combat.
All you heard was like Cassandra screaming, Marcos, why did you buy a vineyard?
It's like
that's it.
I'm just like,
I guess you do get the cold open combat where you're playing the flashback.
But that's
but you don't know what you're doing there.
Yeah.
So if you play through it again and you do know what you're doing, you're like, oh hey, I feel competent. This is cool because I've played like however many hours of this game.
Right.
Like,
I don't know.
It's one of those throw you in and get you over your head, and it's just like kind of a cool thing because there's action everywhere.
Right. Yeah, and that's one of the things I wanted to ask you, because like I've been seeing that all week ever since Valhalla got announced, and then it's like I see the same. Oh, I'm not buying it unless it's like I'm like, well, why? I think it's so much better than.
Yeah, what I hope for with Valhalla is they have the same kind of jump from Origin to Odyssey as far as just polishing some of the systems a little bit more, giving you a little bit more of the dialogue choices and things. I hope Valhalla has more of that are meaningful choices in there. I hope that they've tweaked the combat some to kind of like put a new spin on it that works with the new setting and characters and all that, and that they just take what they already have and polish it a little bit more and make it that much cooler. But like I like the basis of it because like Origins was fun. And then, like, I played Odyssey. I'm like, ooh, this is even better. Yeah. So, like, I hope it's another step up where it's like, oh, man, Valhalla's my favorite now. Who knows? Like, that's what I hope. I don't know if they'll hit that or not, but...
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought, too. But I thought maybe it was just me. That's why I wanted to ask you. It's like...
I mean, it's not a very surprising, like, in hindsight, it's like, of course this is where they had to go next. Because of all the stuff that they do in Odyssey with all of the mythology stuff that they tie into it, like, of course they're going to want to play with the mythology in a different setting. Go Norse. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. People, different strokes for different folks, as they say. So it's fine. It's fine. I prefer the Odyssey, though. I don't think I could go back. I don't think I could. I always thought, well, maybe I'll go back and play Syndicate. I never did finish it. Maybe I'll go. I don't know if I could go back and play it now that I've kind of.
Syndicate is fun. It's just that, I like these games are just better overall. I'd be curious to see what they go back to the Assassin's Creed 2 style of game, making a modern version of that. What that would look like, maybe. But I don't know that they need it. What I really want is that leaked Prince of Persia game that never came out.
Well, and I read a rumor. I didn't put it in the show notes, but I read a rumor today that apparently there's some things pointing that there may be a Prince of Persia announcement here in the next couple weeks.
Prince of Persia is the reason that I played the first Assassin's Creed, because I was like, ooh, cool, like running and climbing on things. It's what I like a lot about the Prince of Persia games. Yeah. Among other things, and like Assassin's Creed seems to have this cool climbing and stuff in it. I'll try it out, and ended up loving that game too. Yeah. But
that's cell shaded.
I miss Prince of Persia, man. Like they haven't had that since that cell shaded one, pretty much.
Yeah, that cell shaded Prince of Persia they had. That one, I loved that one. I thought that was great.
It was different than the other three previous ones, but it was still fun. I don't like it as much, other than the art style is cool. Just it wasn't as good as the other ones. In fact, I think like Sands of Time was great, but I think the third one of those is kind of where they perfected it, because they tried to go the second one. They tried to go a little grim dark with it, and that game was just.
Are you thinking had its issues? 2008. You're thinking that one's the cell shaded one,
yeah. And then was it the Two Thrones? I think is the third of the kind of like trilogy of
there was a trilogy.
And that one was like, okay, it took the best parts of Sands of Time and the Warrior Within and kind of mushed them together into like the third game.
Yeah, I like those. So.
If somehow Prince of Persia comes back before Splinter Cell does, I'm gonna. I don't know. Like I want another Prince of Persia, but like.
Don't worry, both of those games will probably be out before we get like a third brand new reveal of Beyond Good and Evil 2 that looks completely different than the previous two like reveals of, hey, we're doing it. Like, come on, no, you're not.
All I want is my Splinter Cell game to have co-op. Like, I forget which one it was. I want to say it was I played
Conviction.
It with Conviction. Yeah, I played it with a buddy. And at the end of the game, spoiler alert, one of you had to shoot the other.
Yep. That's Conviction.
Yeah,
because the whole co-op campaign is really good. You have several missions, and you're like, "Yeah, we're doing really good."
Yeah, we're doing really good.
That at you at the
end.
Then
it's like at the end, and I'll never forget it, because I was playing with a buddy of mine that I worked with at GameStop online with it, and as soon as it said, "Okay, you got to choose," I just went boom. I mean, I didn't even think about it before he even realized what was happening. I done shot him in the head. And I got that achievement, and to this day, he still, every once in a while, will send me a message going, "Let's play Conviction again so I can get that achievement." And I go, "No."
Conviction was a really cool game where they switched up Splinter Cell a lot, and then for whatever reason, the one after that, they're like, "Now let's just go back to the other type of splinter
But
cell."
even
And it was good. It just didn't have as much personality as what
Right.
Conviction had.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to go. Those are the game I want to pull
But
up
the
on
original
Xbox One
Splinter
X.
Cell
and
is
see what they look
still,
like.
yeah, that's like one of those classic games at this point. The original is really good.
Yeah, and see, those are all Xbox One
Despite,
X advanced. And,
if you go back and play it now, it can be frustrating because they have all of the like stealth sections that are automatic fails if you get caught and things like that. That it's like you gotta be on your game.
Yep.
Or else all that time you spent sneaking around, you get caught. Boom, you gotta do the whole level again.
Yeah, that
Like,
no.
dang it.
Yeah, that did always aggravate me. So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to call that a show for this week. We will be back. Should be back in 2 weeks. Maybe actually be able to go back to a Sunday. We'll see. I'm finally wrapping up.
We'll play it by ear.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear. I'm finally wrapping up my last beer cave resets this week. So no more 5 o'clock in the morning on Monday mornings and driving 4 hours. So fingers crossed. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, like I always,
we'll have some new consoles to talk about next time too.
Yeah, I hope so.
Show us more about what they're coming with, what the price is, when they're coming,
Yeah.
or maybe there'll be nothing.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, like I always say, follow us on Twitter at GL_podcast, and I try to tweet out a couple 5 through 4 hours before we go live, so people will know if they want to come see us live. If not, like I say, if you're just get the regular podcast, it'll be on the feed when it's on the feed. So no big deal at all. So. All right, guys. Well, again, thanks a lot for listening and hanging out with us, and we will catch you guys next time.
Take care.
See you later.